Hello and welcome to Crochet Moments episode
2.
We're not on number 2. What number are we?
Number 7.
That was number 7 if you didn't hear it, and my little helper I think is about to go to bed. So you can say good night to everybody.
Good night.
Good night. Yeah, so that was my youngest, that was Emily, and she wanted to be in the video before bedtime. So again, I will welcome you. Let me just move that because I've just realised I've got a creepy shadow from my light. Well, this is about 5 minutes, actually maybe a little bit less than a minute ago if I've managed to edit it out, because my lighting went all weird and strange. I think my husband moved the light that I use as he was going past to collect little one's pyjamas. Yes, so welcome episode 7, and I don't think it's going to be too long on an episode. I'm really conscious that my last few episodes have been really long, and eek, who wants to sit for an hour listen to me jabber on about my crochet and my knitting? So I'm going to try and keep it a bit shorter. While I quite enjoy watching podcasts that last a long while, one of the recent ones of Little Drops of Wonderful, which is one I watch a lot of, is actually an hour and 20 minutes. So, and I'm happy to sit and watch that in amongst washing up and doing dinner and things like that. So we all multitask, don't we? We're good at multitasking. I like to crochet and watch podcasts. I like to watch podcasts and do all my boring jobs like washing up and ironing and things. So yeah, let me know in the comments below how you like to enjoy your podcasts. Anyway, let's introduce myself. I'm Helen. I live in Leicester with my husband and my 2 girls, and one of whom you've just seen. And it's Leicester, UK. I had somebody do a shout out for my video not too long ago who said she thought I was in Australia, which I thought was, I wish I was. I don't think the weather would be so awful. It's been a bit damp. I've just about managed to miss the rain on my way to and from work on my bicycle, so that's all good, isn't it? Anyway, you can find me on Instagram. I'm at Crochet Moments on Instagram. I'm Helen Brown Crochet on Ravelry, if you have Ravelry. And I will also put my email below should you want to drop me a line, have a chat. I'm more than open to anybody, just they want to show me their whips or just have a chat, get to know me. One of my main reasons for doing this podcast is to make some yarny friends, because I don't have any yarny friends in real life. I have friends that are interested in seeing the things that I make and be receiving the things that I make, but not being crafty people. They don't quite understand my obsession with yarn and other crafty things, because I do have a few crafts that I do. Most of them are yarn related. Anywho, let's get on with some finished objects. And I have 3. Last time I had no finished objects, and this time I have 3. Just moving cushion out my way and open my notebook so I can remember the names of everything that I have finished. So the first thing that is not completely finished. I've got ends to sewing, so I only finished this last night. And this is my gorgeous Infinite Love shawl. Now, how beautiful is this? It's just, oh, I really enjoyed this. Really, really enjoyed it. Even though I did make a little bit of a mistake. And you can't really tell unless you're looking for it. I missed a yarn, a long treble just at the end of this row. So these shapes are supposed to be enclosed, and I've somehow managed to miss a couple of them, so they're not fully closed in. But I don't care, it's beautiful. It is going to be a Christmas gift for my manager, who, she's a very classy lady. So hopefully this is classy enough for her, even if though it is acrylic, so it's not completely classy yarn. The grey is the Aldi DK, which I really like. It's so soft. And the cream is James Seabrett, and it's just the budget DK that they do. It's only about £1.60, £1.70 a ball. So yes, I'm really looking forward to gifting that, because I think she'll like it. The colours are just her colours. She wears a coat in a similar grey to this as well, and so yeah, I'm really looking forward to gifting that. That's the best thing about this craft, isn't it? Just gifting stuff. I don't keep a whole bunch of stuff that I have made. A lot of the time it's for other people. Although I do keep a lot of my blankets. That's partly because I've put so much work into it. I'm loath to say goodbye. Especially one of the really big blankets, like my Rosetta. I was going to gift that, but I fell in love with it too much. I couldn't part with it. And my d'Histoire Naturelle, this year's Scheepes Crochet Along, is also going that way. Although at the moment I'm having a love-hate relationship with it, and I'll explain that later. So yes, so this is designed by Magdalene Lee. It's not available as an individual pattern. The designer designs a lot of items for Crochet Now magazine, which is a magazine I subscribe to, and she can't find a website that she might sell on. The magazine doesn't tend to give social media handles of the designers, so sometimes it's a bit difficult to find them if they don't also have listings in their own name. But so if you do want this, the issue is issue 36 of Crochet Now magazine. So yeah, you can always download a copy. Yeah, or even order a paper copy. I think the Crochet Now magazine website has listings that you can order the hard copies. I might be wrong on that, but I'll put links below in the descriptions below the comments. So that is finished item number 1, and I really love that. I can't wait to start the scarf that's going to be for my other work colleague as well. My next finished object is something I'm really excited about, because it was almost finished the last time I spoke to you, and this time I'm just trying to flatten them out. I've been wearing them, so I won't hold them too close to the camera. And they are my socks. They're my knitted socks. They're finished, and they're so warm. They are so warm. Last week we had some of the first frosts of the season. I love autumn, and I love that time of year when you just start to get, when the grass is a little bit crunchy as you walk on it. Not so that you've got sheet ice on the ground, because I'm a slippy person. If there is ice, I will slip. But it was a little bit chilly, so I wore these for cycling to work, and I wore them at work as well, because at the bank I work in, we sort of take it in turns to work either the counter area or the inquiries area. And I was in the inquiries area, and with the doors opening and closing, the obviously my feet were getting cold, but they weren't the day I wore these. The yarn is Drops Fable, and it is in the colourway 340. I can't remember the name. Wool Warehouse had names for them, but the ball bands just give a colour number. So yes, these were a bit of an experiment. If you've seen my previous video, because I'd not knitted socks before, I decided I would try two of the most likely methods for myself to make them. I immediately ruled out magic loop, because I've tried magic loop a million times and I just don't get it. It's weird how I got DPNs. I managed to cope with DPNs and a short circular, but magic loop just is beyond me at the moment. I plan on getting some nice interchangeable circular needles, so I'm not completely ruling out magic loop, but for now, at least for socks, I'm not going to do them. So this sock, let me get this right. Yeah, so this sock is my DPN. So this was my second sock, and I did these on 2.5mm Addies DPNs, and I've ended up, I don't think I could call it a ladder because there's no holes, but you can see where my needles are, and I have righted that towards the bottom in the foot, so I'm thinking it's just a tension issue. I'm hoping it's just a tension issue, because I think I prefer the DPNs. The tension, especially on the rib, the tension on the rib is much better than the one that was done on the short circular. You can even, there's a visible difference. There's the same amount of stitches, the same size needle, the same brand of needle as well. This was done with the Addie Sock Wonder 2.5mm. So although this was sock number 1, this was my first experience of knitting in the round, so I don't know if that had a factor. I'm not sure. I have bought slightly smaller needles as well for it. While these fit, it's a loose fit, and I'm worried that after a couple of wears, as the knitting starts to stretch, that they might start falling down a bit. And I don't want to be one of those girls with socks all rolled down like that. I like my socks up. So I'm so excited about these. I have already cast on a second pair of socks, which I will show you soon. And my last finished object is, and I need to remind myself of the name of the pattern. Oops. It's from my Crochet Society box, and this is the, where's the name? The Eliza Beanie. So this is the picture of the hat, and I'm actually really pleased with how this turned out. Oh, it is. It's so lovely. The one thing I didn't like about it, and that's nothing to do with the pattern, it's to do with the pom-pom. So the pom-pom came with the box, and I have zero experience with this kind of pom-pom, but from other podcasts that I watch, some bought pom-poms tend to have a loop, and there was no loop, so I've had to stitch, really difficult to, but I've had to stitch it straight through there. Let me move out so you can focus. So I've had to right in there, and I don't know. It's not put me off using these sorts of pom-poms, but a lot of the ones I've seen, they have loops so you can put them through and then put a button on the inside so that you can remove them for washing. So my only concern is that once this hat needs washing, it's going to, the pom-pom's going to be ruined. I've never, or should I just hand wash the hat? When it's an acrylic yarn, so it's the yarn is machine washable. Let me know what you think. Would that wash? I don't know. It'd be a shame if it gets ruined because I love this hat. I haven't had a chance to wear it yet because at the moment the UK is in another national lockdown. So the only times I'm really going out is if I'm going to work and I go on my bike. So I can't wear a bubble hat underneath my bicycle helmet. That would be a bit uncomfortable. Yeah, so I'm not really going anywhere to wear my lovely knitwear, although I have been, all of my scarves have been making little outings on my rides because they just really nice, cosy, warm and keep me nice and cosy. So those are my finished objects, and I will show you the yarn for that when I get to my incoming, because I will show you my Crochet Society box. Show me, oh, there's some missing bits. Yeah. My kids have had one of the items out of the box, so I won't be able to show you everything that came in the box, but I will show you what is still in the box. I try to keep it all together and then things just decide to vanish thanks to my children. So my next, we're on works in progress now. I haven't got a huge amount to show you today because there haven't had much progress made on anything other than my Scheepes CAL, which I will show you now. It's just, oh, crikey, what's happening there? I can always tell when my girls have been at my yarn. That's going to need a little bit of untangling. There's the ball band. Let's get this. It's getting really big now. Now I am on the second row of part 5 now. Part 4 still has quite a lot of ends to sew in. I almost threw in the towel at part 4. It was so hard. Now I did show you some of the motifs in my last video. So part 4 had these lovely motifs and I can't remember what they were all. I think this one was the geode, and then these ones are the agate. Yeah. And what were these ones called? Let's get the pattern out and have a look. Quartz. So that one was a quartz. So I'm on row 71 already. So yes, this is the corner section, and while I love the look of it, I can't really see it, can you, because of the colours and my against my wall. I love the look of it. I did not love making it. I was always getting lost. I leaned heavily on Esther's videos. So this is a free crochet along pattern. We're up to part 5, so obviously it's there for as long as Scheepes' website is there. You can even do the past crochet alongs as well if you wanted to. Yeah, so part 4, lots and lots of really long stitches. When I first saw the picture of this part, I assumed that this was all chaining, and it's not. We've got quadruple, triple trebles in there, lots of triple treble, triple, triple, treble. So we had lots of 4 times round before you start looping through, and lots of 3 times round as you start looping through. I keep getting mixed up on the names of the stitches for some reason. But it does look amazing though. I will try and show you the whole thing. It's quite tricky because you're quite close to me on the sofa. So this is the whole blanket, and it's just lovely, really, really lovely. And I love this style of blanket with the different stitches making up the patterns. I really struggle with making anything that is endless double crochets or whatnot. I really struggle. If it's a pattern that has a 3 or 4 row repeat, I can handle that because it's not all the same stitches and such like. But if it's just 1 or 2 rows the same, I really struggle. So unless it's a Grafgan, and not that I've done too many of those, I've finished one. I started another but realised I'd designed it too big. I'd used Stitch Fiddle and there were like 30 colours. I started it and I realised, because I was making it for my eldest, and it was My Little Pony Equestria Girls, and by the time I was about a quarter of the way through, she was already losing interest in Equestria Girls. I was like, do I really want to put what is potentially 2 or 3 years work into this and not have I use it? So no, so yes, this Schjeepes Crochet Along is d'Histoire Naturelle. It's designed by Christina Hadderingh, who's a spoonful of yarn. I had to remind myself, I've said it however many times now. And she does a lot of Scheepes designs, and there's some beautiful things on patterns that she does. And this is not going to be the last project that I make from her designs. There's a few that I like, not counting this one. This is the pattern that came with the kit that I bought. I bought the Colour Crafter kit, and I'm strongly leaning towards saving up and getting the more luxury yarn kit next time. We'll see, because the luxury yarn kits are about 3 times the cost of a Colour Crafter kit for these, and I do want to try the nicer Scheepes yarns. I don't think I can justify spending £100 for a blanket that essentially gets thrown around the floor quite a lot by my children. I think a lot of self-convincing might be needed. But yes, I am, part 4 notwithstanding, I'm really enjoying this crochet along. It is really, really nice, and I'm really happy that we're getting to the stage now that it's covering my lap as I work on it, so my legs are nice and cozy, my toes are cozy, and it's all good. All good. Now let's talk about an abandoned whip. Temporarily abandoned. I will be going back to it. My baby jumper and my what's left of the wool has just rolled underneath the chair where you're sat on. So this is a vintage Serdar pattern which I found in my mum's stash that I inherited from her, and I am doing just this plain jumper here in James C. Brett Fairground. I think it's Fairground. Unfortunately, whoops, some of my incoming launching itself at me on the sofa. I have got this far up the second sleeve, so I've still got at least half a sleeve to go. So I've still got this much of the sleeve to do, and I'm down to the very last dregs of the ball of yarn. I'm going to have to buy some more. I don't really want to do an online purchase, because then I have to make it up to £25 for the free delivery, because why not? And my husband keeps complaining when I buy lots of yarn. So the plan is, this is going on the back burner until the 2nd of December, when hopefully the lockdown will come to an end in the UK and I can go to my local yarn shop and, is she Jenny B? I think she's Jenny B. So if you live in Leicester, you might be familiar with Jenny. She's of in Silver Street Arcade, and it's a treasure trove of yarn in there. I love it. A lot of it is affordable yarn as well. She doesn't stock too much of the really expensive stuff. In fact, I don't think she stocks any sort of like hand dyed and things like that, but she does have a lot of James C. Brett. So everything crossed that she's still... I've lost the ball band, so I'm going to have to take the jumper with me and sort of wave it at her and say, "Can you help?" And I'm sure she will, because she's really helpful, as most local yarn shop owners are. They're always really helpful and more than willing to give you some advice on yarn purchases and such like. So I have 2 new starts. So I'll do the big new start first, because my second new start leads into my incoming. And I have started Emily's unicorn sweater. This is a knitted pattern, and it is designed by Jane Burns, who has designed this for issue 120 of Knit Now. I don't subscribe to a knitting magazine, and I don't plan on subscribing to a knitting magazine, but I do every time I'm at the supermarket or at the newsagents. I always have a look and see what patterns are available in the books. If there's more than 2 or more things on the cover that I like, I'll buy it. And the same goes for crochet magazines that I don't subscribe to, because I only subscribe to the one. And I think that's plenty to be going on with to start with. But yes, so with this, it's so cute. And that little girl in the picture is just adorable. And I really like, you can't really see it in this picture, miss. Just try and do it so you can't see the pattern. But look, the mane is on the sleeve. So that Emily has been asking if I finish this since I bought the magazine and I hadn't even started it. So you can imagine how much of a pain she's been since I started. I haven't got very far because, like I said, I've been concentrating on trying to keep up to date with my Scheepes CAL. So I've just got the rib done. I've got a few more rows of rib left to do for the back. And there it is. It's just 2x2 rib. And the yarn is Aldi Steel Grey. This is from the last lot of yarn that I bought from there. Mismatched needles. They're the same size, they're just different makes. This is why I am hoping that the set of knitting needles that I put on my Christmas list materialises under the tree. Yeah, my husband is getting to that point where he's like, I need to know what you want for Christmas. Well, I've told you. No, email me a list. So I had to spend some time, and I've really enjoyed using the Knit Pro Zing sock needles, which I will show you in a minute because I have some socks to show you in a minute. So I thought that I might go for the Knit Pro Zing long knitting needle sets. And there's some really good prices out there on Amazon and things. So I've also put the Knit Pro Zing interchangeable circular needle set on my Christmas list as well. So if I don't get either of them, I will just buy them in the new year, because I'm doing a lot more knitting now and all of my knitting needles are mismatched. I think I'll probably lay my hands on a couple of pairs, but not too many pairs, and very rarely in the sizes that I need them to be in a proper pair. And I don't know how different it would be using different needles. They're the same size, but they're just different brands. But my mum tended to get a lot of the pony. Are they pony? Prin? Well, that's going to bug me now. Let's have a look. What did they say on these? Are they pony? I'm sure those are pony. Can you see that? Yeah. I'm sure that's pony, isn't it? Or am I just imagining knitting needle brands? I don't know. Anyway, they're still nice to use, but I really like using the zings, so I would like a set of zings. Anyway, socks. Now, this also kind of leads on to my incoming. I will... Oh, it's all getting in a tangle in here. So you might remember, I got this free pattern with a ball of sock yarn when I went to a garden centre a few weeks ago now. And I am making these ones with the lace. I'm trying some lace on a sock. Because a lot of the sock patterns I have seen on Ravelry have got little lace patterns. And I do plan on getting some more solid colours, because on these socks I'm not getting the definition of the lace terribly well. Let's just fold those there, so let's pop that one in there. So let's get these out. Ooh. Poppers. Okay, right. So these are my socks. Now I'm making these for little Emily. I've just finished turning their heel and doing my gusset on this sock. So you can just see the lace there. It's not terribly obvious, and I don't know how much that is the patterning on the yarn, the striping. And look at this, awful. The pattern is on 3 DPNs. You work on 3 and you knit with the 4th. Oh my goodness. The pearl section of this lace part is on where you move from one needle to the next. I won't be doing that again. I won't be doing that again. If I make these again, I will try and do the pattern section on my short circular and have the I'll just use stitch markers to mark out the areas where the needle should be. But these are on 2.25s. I've gone to 4 for the... I find it easier knitting across 4 than I do 3. So it's all learning. It's all learning. This is only my second pair of socks, and I'm knitting them concurrently. So the lace was an 8-row repeat. So I did 1 repeat, 1 repeat, 1 repeat, 1 repeat, and I think there were 3 repeats in these socks in this size. And I've got the heel flap done on this one. I only work on my socks on Saturday. Sock Saturday. So I shall be working on these tomorrow. Because I'm filming on Friday. I will be uploading this probably Saturday night, Sunday morning. So by the time you see this, I will have made a bit more progress on these. But they're so cute though. They are really, really cute. And I just love knitting socks. Who'd have thunk? After all the years that as a knitter, that I have seen knitting patterns for socks and thought, oh no, can't, there's no way. Yes. Oh. So let's just lay those there. So that's all of the whips I've got to show you today. I haven't made much progress on my shawl or my hummingbird cardigan. I've made 0 progress on the baby blanket I've started. That seems to have been forgotten about almost. And baby's due soon, so I need to get moving on that. Maybe when this CAL is finished, I'll have more time, because I am spending a lot longer on the CAL than I thought I would. The pattern releases are every 2 weeks, and I thought I could probably spend the evenings of 1 week working on it, and then the evenings of the next week working on all my other projects. And that's not how it's worked out. It took 2 weeks and a day to get part 4 done. So we shall see. Anyway, incoming. Otherwise I'm in great danger of hitting the hour mark again. This is, to pop these up a bit so I don't lose my spare needles. Working on DPNs, I decided I needed some DPN holders. And I found these on Etsy. They are so cute. And these are by Pickle Lily. It's Jo at Pickle Lily. Let's see if I can get the... And her Etsy shop definitely made it to my email of links sent to hubby, because she's got some beautiful project bags on there. They're really, really pretty, and lots of DPN holder different patterns. I went for pussycats, so I've got the grey, cream one, and the bright pink. She didn't have. I was going to try and get two of one colour, but she didn't. She only had 1 of each colour left, so I just had 1 of each, and they're just so lovely. And they fit my needles perfectly. I've got my spares in there now. They've got these poppers in. I'm sure you're familiar with needle holders. But they just fit my zings in perfect. There's my zings, which I love. They're so nice. They're lovely needles to work with. Compared to the old-fashioned needle. I call them old-fashioned needles because, well, they're the only kinds of needles I've really ever worked with. So, yeah, let's just pop these back in here so I don't lose any of the needles. I've got really paranoid about losing a needle out of my knitting. So, especially when something as lovely as socks. So there they are. They just, whoops. So they just sit in. And at the rate I'm going with this yarn, I've got quite a bit left still to get the foot and the toe done. So I think I'm going to have some left over. So I'm going to have to think of a scrappy project that I can put my sock yarn in. I don't know if I'm brave enough to try scrappy socks yet, because I don't know if I'm brave enough to try contrast cuffs and heels and toes yet. the Crazy Sock Lady, whose tutorial I followed for my very first pair of socks, she does have a tutorial for doing contrast cuffs and heels and toes. So maybe that's for future. Yes, so further incoming, I have had my Crochet Society box. Let's do that first. And here it is. So the theme was obviously bonfire night. So we had the hat, which I've done. And I haven't done any of the other projects yet. I'm hoping I have enough yarn to do the toy project. What have I done with the book? What have I done with the pattern book? Oh, don't panic. There it is. Don't panic, Mr. Mannering. Oh, that might age me a little bit. Dad's Army. For those international viewers, what decade was it? I was born in the 80s, and my dad was a huge fan of Dad's Army, and so I grew up watching programs like that, Dad's Army, Allo Allo, and so one of the characters, his phrase was "Don't panic, Mr. Mannering," and it's just, I'm sure if you do a search on YouTube, you'll find some clips, if not whole episodes, of Dad's Army. Really amusing watch. Anyway, back to crochet. This is the Crochet Society pattern book for this month. And the patterns, there's the hat, obviously you've seen that. And the toy is just adorable. It's Safety the Squirrel. And that is designed by Heather Gibbs of Keep Calm and Crochet. I think it's Carry On Crochet. Something like, or Crochet On. I can't remember. I'll have to have a look. And I have done a couple of her patterns, not her amigurumi patterns. She did a blanket crochet along. It's the very first blanket project, really. Crochet project, thinking about it. Proper crochet project. But yes, and she did this, I think it was called Stitch Story crochet along, and I really enjoyed learning all the different stitches. So yes, we've got the squirrel, and there's the option to brush the yarn on the tail to give it the sort of fluffiness, which I think is adorable. So yes, that was that. So obviously with a toy you get that, the really, really pretty hook. So this is one thing I love about Crochet Society Box, is the hooks. Let's just block my face out, so hopefully it will focus on the hook instead. And the colours, look at the colours. It's almost like a bit of firework there, isn't it? So yes, this is a 5.5mm hook, which was not the hook requested for the hat. I had to get my 6.5 out of my hook box. So we haven't had a 6.5 hook yet from the crochet boxes. So I do favour these hooks. This is the problem. when I come across a pattern and I don't have the right hook, I'm using my 5mm Crochet Society hook for my CAL that I'm working on. Pretty much all of my crochet projects are done with one of these hooks. Anyway, that's stopped me yabbering on. And the yarn it's another Bella Coco brand. And I'm really annoyed that this doesn't say exactly the manufacturer, because I love this yarn. Really, really love this yarn. It's so soft. The stitch definition on it is just absolutely, just look at the definition of those. I'm blowing it out a little bit with this light. I do apologise. My lighting has gone up all weird today. I had it perfect last time, and I can't remember how I had my light set up. But yes, just look at that. And just on the ribbon, oh, there goes another ball of wool. I'm going to be picking up balls of wool when I'm done. But the definition of that ribbing, it's just, it's got such a, and it feels so soft. So yeah, so this is a super soft chunky. It's, for me, it's a little bit thin as a chunky. I would probably put that as just a slightly thicker Aran, personally, but I still love it. It's just, it's definitely strokeable. And I have sat there just, and yeah, so I've definitely got enough to do the body of the squirrel. I'm not sure, excuse me while I get that ball of wool that ran away from me. This is what I have left of the grey. I'm not sure if I have enough. Now I do have some grey DK that is almost identical in colour to this, and I'm wondering if I held it 2 strands, would that make it a chunky? Because I could do that. I could definitely do that. The other alternative would be to maybe go down a hook size, because they recommend the 5.5mm hook. I'm wondering if I went down to a 5 or even a 4.5, if I might be able to get a tail out of what's left of that grey. It's my tension for amigurumi. I do find that I need to go down at least 1 hook size to the recommended size to avoid too many gaps in the stuffing. I don't know, but I might be starting him on Sunday. But he's just so cute. I don't want to show the pattern. It is lovely. And the other pattern in the book is this clutch bag. I won't be making this, not even out of stash on. It doesn't appeal to me, this one, for some reason, which is a shame. There's not too many boxes where I don't end up having an argument with myself over which projects that I'm going to prioritise making, because I'm time poor. And I want to do everything. There's so many things I want to work on. So also in the box, now this was in last month's box, but there were another 2 of these sorts of tubs, which were lovely. Oh, where's my stitch marker gone? My fireworks stitch marker has disappeared. No, that's an ice cream. Oh no. Where's that gone? There was a really lovely stitch marker, and that appears to be yet another one of the things that's disappeared out of my box. Oh dear. Sometimes you wonder why you have children, don't you? I love them to bits. So, yes. So excuse the crinkling, but this is another one of the things that came in. Now I was quite excited when I saw these, except that they have Crochet Society branding on them, and I think I would have preferred just, I don't know, a little picture or something. So we've got, these are little fake, I think they're fake leather, sort of tags for putting on hats and things. Just because I'm not a big fan of having the Crochet Society bit on there, I won't be using these ones, but now I've seen these things in real life, I'll definitely be looking at getting some others. I have seen on other podcasts different designs. I suppose I could fold it the other way and just have it plain like that, but I like the darker brown, so there is a bit of a difference in colour there, and I prefer this colour to this colour. We'll see. We shall see. And then lastly in this box that I still have in here are these wooden buttons, and I can't remember what the buttons were for, unless they were for the bag. They might have been for the bag, but anyway, buttons. I will use these for something else, no doubt, because I like wooden buttons. They're really nice. They are really, really, really nice. So that was my Crochet Society box incoming, and I look forward to making an attempt on the amigurumi. Yes, I have a love-hate amigurumi. I love trying it. I hate my results. I follow the instructions as faithfully as I can, and I still don't get brilliant results. So I keep meaning to try and find my one really good result that I did, and it was, if I can find her, I'll take a picture and pop her somewhere here over my shoulder. But it was a Crochet Society pattern. It was a bunny rabbit, and I did it in stash yarn. I used the box yarn for one of the other projects in the box, and I used what yarn was it? The James C. Brett Twinkle for the head and the arms and the legs and the ears. I used for the body, the pink, I used some leftover King Cole Drifter yarn that I had left over from a scarf that I made, and it's one of my best attempts at amigurumi, and I was so excited. I thought, I've got it. And then the following month was the bucket and spade, and that did not go well. Anyway, my next exciting, I have squishy mail. Now I know that I'm not supposed to have squishy mail. I've promised my husband that I will use more of my stash before I buy more yarn. However, the seller of this yarn, she has sale events on Facebook. She doesn't have, to my knowledge, she doesn't really sell her yarn outside of her pop-up events, and she only has about 4 or 5 a year. And I said, it's probably going to be the last one before Christmas. I'm going to buy some. And my husband said, do you have to? I was like, yeah. He could have said no, but he knows I wouldn't have listened. So yarn mixology bobbles. These are called bobbles, and it is a 4-stranded fingering yarn. So I'll try and get that there so you can see. Try and split it up a little bit, and it's a gradual colour change, and it's, the last ones I got had little beads on the ends. This one doesn't. This is the main colour that I bought, berries and cream, and it was about £22. If you would like one of these for yourself, if you head onto Facebook, if you're on Facebook, and follow the Yarn Mixology group, it's there. I'll try and link it below as well. Then you will see all the lovely things that people make with these. A lot of people mostly knit with them. I haven't knit with one of these yet. I did crochet one, a beautiful shawl which I gave to my mum-in-law for her birthday. But this is berries and cream. Just look at those colours. Oh. Now I promised myself only one, mainly because Christmas is coming and Santa needs his pennies. So yes, but then she had some lucky dips. So you buy one of these, and for 10, so these ones are, this one's 1,000 metre. They do come in 500,000 or 1,200 metre, and obviously the prices vary accordingly. So it was about £22 for this one, and it is a cotton acrylic blend. And I'm going to try and find a knitting pattern for this. So sorry, I've got Catherine knocking at the door. I think she wants to come and watch her TV programmes. So I'll try and be quick. Yes, so I do want to knit with this. So if you have any suggestions, why don't you email me, message me, put a little comment. I'd love some ideas. And then the lucky dip is an 800 metre. Just look at those colours. Oh, if this had been like a main colour to choose from, I would have chosen it for definite. I love that colour. This is asking to be a shawl. It's asking to be a shawl, isn't it? This one. Or a scarf of some description. I don't know if it'll be knitted or crocheted. We'll have to wait and see. Anyway, I better try and move a bit faster. I think my camera's starting to get a bit angry with me as well. But I'm nearly done. I promise, I'm nearly done. And yes, so my last incoming is my magazines. So this week we had the latest issue of Crochet Now magazine, and the gift, which I think is on the dining table somewhere, is a Pusheen themed hook and stitch marker. Now Pusheen is this little character here. Apparently I'm not completely I'm completely unknowing about these things. Yeah, so there's not a huge amount in here that I want to do, which is unusual because there's usually quite a lot that I want to do. One thing that I did see that I quite like the look of, but I don't know if I'd have the patience for it, mainly because it's very samey all the way through, and we know how I feel about samey with crochet anyway. Knitting, I can whip up a stocking stitch because it doesn't take any thought at all. And oh yes, and there was a jumper in here that I want to do. I normally fold the corners down for projects that I want to make, but I failed to do that yet with this issue, and I want to make that for Emily. It doesn't go up to Catherine's size, which Catherine's very disappointed about because she loves that jumper. So this is Crochet Now, and it is issue 62, and as I film today on Friday the 13th of November, it is currently in store, and the next one isn't due to go out until the 10th of December. So if you see anything on that cover that you like, you'll have to head on to the shops and get it. And my next and last incoming is another crochet magazine, and this one is Simply Crochet. Now I am trying to branch out because I know different magazines have different leanings as to what they like to feature, and this caught my eye. That jumper, just look at it. How lovely is that jumper? that is 100% going on my to make pile. And I think I'm going to do mine in royal blue and mustard, so it's not going to be as Christmassy. And also there's a wall hanging here. There's a very real chance that is going to find its way under the tree for Christmas for a certain little girl who likes unicorns and things. So yes, so this came with a shawl pattern book, and there are a couple of things in here that I like. Particularly there's these two here. I really like those. Let's find the pages. Be able to see them a little bit better. So there's this one. Just look at that. It's just they're just lovely. So lovely. And then this sort of poncho type wrap. It's another one that I really like. So when I'll get around to doing them, I don't know. And looking at the timer on this video, I know I said right at the start I'm not going to whittle on for an hour. I've whittled on for an hour. Oh my goodness, I do apologise if you are bored. Although if you have got bored, you've probably gone by now. Anyway, yes, I think that, in the Simply Crochet magazine there was this really nice shawl pin. And considering I didn't have a lot to show you, I've been going on for ages. So, without further ado, I had better say good night. I'm going to go pour myself a glass of something possibly alcoholic, or I might make a nice cup of herbal tea. I haven't decided yet, and then I'll get on with my crochet along. So I really appreciate your comments and your likes. It's been really lovely reading them, so please feel free to chat along down there. Again, I repeat, I will put my email below if you want to chat to me just personally. I'm open to making new friends. So I will love you and leave you, and I will see you again in a couple of weeks. Goodbye.